But I've got a quiz question for you. Rico Lewis, the youngest player on his first start to score on his Champions League debut, who did he beat as the youngest?
Wayne Rooney.
Benzema.
How old was Benzema?
Wowzer! Thierry! Too good! Your knowledge is exceptional, no? I didn't even finish the question, Benzema.
Very warm welcome back. As I said earlier on in the show, this is our last show before February the 14th, which means that it is also our last show before the World Cup, which is starting in November and will run through to December. So a Winter World Cup this time around, because it's being held in Qatar. It means it's the last show that we have you, Coach Henry, before you go off and join Belgium for the World Cup. So it's an exciting time that we've got ahead. I think yesterday we began to talk about this because we were talking about players that were injured, and you kind of had really strong views just on the fact that we've got a Winter World Cup and the fact that it's being held in Qatar, Jamie. So, Micah and everybody's going to take a seat and listen and see what you're thinking.
You want me to say the same as what I said last night?
You can say whatever you want. I guess, for anybody who wasn't watching last night, this is kind of your last opportunity to address anything you want to address before
I think
the World
the point you made about the injuries was very interesting.
Was there anything you disagreed with?
No, I thought you made the case very well, to be honest. But it was the injuries that I was most interested about, because you get that buffer period after the season. And now we've seen Chilwell, another player, Varane, Pogba, the list goes on, Son. This is the one I'm most interested in. It's just his World Cup dream could be over now.
I mean, listen, when I said this, there was a lot of reaction on social media as well, and I answered back to a few people, and there's a lot of different arguments, and listen, you feel for anybody getting an injury at any time. The point is, there's lots of players who've missed the World Cups or tournaments through injury. It happens, that it's part of football. The point I'm trying to make is, if you play your last league game and then the first game of the World Cup is a week later, even a small injury can keep you out. A big injury is always going to keep you out. That's football. So that was the point on injuries yesterday. But the frustration with me is the way we, as a football world, just accepted that a World Cup went to a country where, and it's not about that country or that area ever not getting a World Cup, it's the World Cup, it's for the world. There's no problem with that. But the fact that, you know, we know how corrupt FIFA have been for so long, going back to Sepp Blatter's days, and it's common knowledge that, you know, it was won by basically brown envelopes going to FIFA or heads of certain areas or countries to switch their vote. And that's not me being bitter about England not getting the World Cup or nothing like that. I'm not that bothered about England not getting a World Cup. But it was the fact that we as a footballing world accepted that Qatar, you know, like everybody said, the World Cup's going to be in the summer. It's now being moved to the winter. The effect that has on all the leagues around. And it's not just the injuries, don't forget, right now. What we've done is, think of us in terms of the Champions League. We have crammed the Champions League group stage into, I don't know what it is, it feels like 2 months. Normally there'd be another month. You know, these games would be going on for maybe another 4 to 6 weeks. Everything's being crammed in now. There's no thought to the players. The players are just treated like animals. And I'm not just talking about now, I'm talking about in general. There's always new competitions popping up all over the place. And this just sums up FIFA, the biggest organisation in world football, who organise the biggest competition in the world, that only comes around every 4 years, don't care about the players. All they care about is money.
I guess just to double back on the conversation about injuries, we as a team, yesterday we were talking about this, and we wrongly identified a player who we thought would end up missing out on the World Cup, right? In that we thought that Gavi could potentially...
Yeah, it was Pablo Torre. But
who, sorry?
Yesterday it was Pablo Torre, because we obviously didn't watch the Barca Pleasant game, and it looked like Gavi, but it was Pablo Torre. Hopefully he's okay, but Gavi will make the World Cup, hopefully, if Luis Enrique picks him. But one of the most important things that Jamie said is the time that you don't have to actually recover from a small injury. Or, for me as an assistant coach with Roberto Martinez and the staff, you don't have the time to have the team and working on the World Cup. And when now I will go back to when I was as a player, nobody cares about the players. Nobody cares about the staff. Nobody cares about anything. They just care about having the World Cup, wherever it is, and let's move on and let's play it. Wherever I go, you go, or whoever goes, the World Cup will happen, wherever it is. It was in Russia, people were debating that. It's in Qatar, people were debating that. What I don't see, whatever it is that people never ask questions to the players before. They ask questions when it's already made, it's already done, and now they want people to answer and give their view. Ask me my view at the beginning.
So were you nervous? You see, De Bruyne coming on in the
Sorry.
second half. De Bruyne coming on in the second half for Man City.
I'm scared.
Exactly that. As Belgium assistant
I'm
coach,
not well.
how are you feeling?
I'm not well, but usually you finish a season like that. You don't start a season with all those games. This is why maybe also you have all those injuries, because the body is not used to have all those games at the beginning of the season. Just because the World Cup has to be at a certain moment and a certain point, because we all know it's going to be too hot after to go and play there.
There was something I was involved in, and what Thierry says, this is not exactly just about the World Cup, but it's very close to it. The idea of a World Cup being every 2 years. Now, I got asked to go on a conference call with Arsene Wenger and people around him, and I've got so much respect, I must say that, for Arsene Wenger. And what they were doing was they were getting ex-players who'd played in World Cups and trying to garner support. Tell us their ideas, their plans, which is fine. It's important that they get their ideas fully out there. But because we'd listened to this Zoom chat, it was almost like, well, now we've told you our plans, you're part of our team. And I just asked one question. I said, why are you asking ex-players? Ask Mbappe. Ask the players now whether they want to play in a World Cup every 2 years. Don't be asking ex-players and just try and get us on board and we go around the world because we're in free hotels or we get free tickets or we get paid. And we put on our social media, oh, the World Cup will be fantastic every 2 years. And absolute nonsense. And I told them on that call, it's a non-starter in terms of having a World Cup every 2 years, but it's not down to me. But don't ask ex-players. Ask the players right now, and they're the ones who we should be looking after, and that's what Thierry's talking about. No one thinks about the players who are playing right now in terms of the schedule we've had, playing a World Cup in the position that we're in right now, and the injuries that are going to come on the back of it. Nobody cares, especially FIFA.
It's brutal, absolutely. Unfortunately, we haven't got time to carry on that conversation. I'd love to, though, but we are going to go to a very quick break. We will come back one final time with a short segment just before we leave you. We'll see you in a second. Bye. Yes, welcome back. So we now know our 16 teams who are through to the last 16 in the Champions League. Reminder for you, you can stream the Champions League round of 16 draw live on Paramount Plus. It's on Monday, November 7th. Coverage begins for you at 6 a.m. Eastern. Let's take a look at that screen one more time that shows us who are the teams that finished in top place, who are the teams that finished in second place in their group. So that's the top row and the second row, as you can imagine. And talk about who we would like to see face who. Dream round of 16 tie. Give me one, Micah.
I'll take Brugge.
Okay, you're talking about the easiest possible tie you think on paper for Manchester City.
That's your dream. What you want.
That's what you asked me what I want.
Fine.
I said Brugge.
Okay.
I would go Liverpool to play Porto. We've played them a few times in the past, and I think psychologically we've always seemed to have the edge on them.
Terry, give me what I understand are like a dream round of 16 tie. What did I
Arsenal is
want?
not there, so I don't actually care.
No Barcelona
But
either?
I actually, generally, I didn't care about the draw. Believe me or not, I generally didn't care, because if you play in a team that's supposed, in bracket, to go far and win it, it doesn't matter where you go, it's about winning it. When I understood Benfica celebrating it, because it would be a matter of how far can we go. The rest, you have to face everybody, whether you go out before or after, it's about winning it. People talk about the journey and everything. Trust me, I lost in the final. The journey is not that great.
How about, if I get to pick, I would say Real Madrid, Liverpool, repeat of the final. How would you like that one?
You don't have Man United there.
I sure don't. I'm not talking about Man United. What? You'll take that?
Yeah, well, it is what it is, isn't it? But I think Liverpool will be a different proposition for anybody after Christmas. They're not at the races right now, but I think we'll see Liverpool back to the best.
Will they get another midfielder by February the 14th? January
I
window
hope so.
over there?
I hope so. And the fact it's in Istanbul, so is...
Hot
What did they say last year? I can feel it.
You can feel it.
Gents, It's been fun. Thank you very much. I've enjoyed the group stages with you all. Nice to be with you. Coach, best of luck.
Coach,
going
See you there.
Yes. Good luck.
Everybody, thank you for the company during the group stages. We will see you again. February 14th is the date for our next show. Until then, be safe. God bless you. Thank you. Goodbye.